So we're here with South of Eden. For those listening who don't know who you are, do you want to give us your elevator speech?
Ooh, Tommy, you want the elevator speech?
Sure. So we're a rock band from Columbus, Ohio. We've been around for a couple years now. We got a 4-song EP out. It's on iTunes, Apple, Spotify, iTunes
Amazon,
and Apple. iTunes and Apple. But no, if you like any kind of rock from any generation, I think we kind of hit everything at least once.
Yeah. That's good. Very good. So tonight we're in Newport playing a show. I think this is your first show on this round. Is it the first show of the year?
First show, first live, like in person show.
That's the first.
Yeah, we did
some live streams, but
exactly. We did live streams to kind of keep in touch with the people. But yeah, this is the first real show. Brought the school bus out, and here we are.
Yeah. How do you feel going into a live show after being? Well, you guys did a couple live shows last year, right?
Yeah, we did
in October. There was the social distance outside thing at Flanagan's.
Yep.
Okay.
Which that one was awesome.
Yeah, it went really well. We just put it up out of nowhere just so we could play a live show and sold 2 nights out. Sick nasty.
Very nice.
Yeah, back to back. That was awesome.
I'm excited. After doing that sound check, I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in like this. For people at home, we're in this. Is this like going live or do you just write a text?
We're gonna do text and sound.
Okay,
so
yeah.
They heard that
It's not
whole brain
live, though.
fart.
We can
It's
go live.
continuing. I'm still digging on.
Just please leave alone.
The fact that it's in like this giant red church building with like stained glass and just huge ceilings and just reverb up the ass, if I can swear, and it's so cool. It's such a cool building.
Yeah,
We're excited. The first night is always exciting.
It's when we worked the kinks out. We had
Right.
a couple things go wrong before sound check.
But somehow it's always still the most fun.
Yeah.
Like even though it might be the one that you kind of like working things out are, it's still or working things out on. It's still I don't know. There's something magic.
Yeah, you're just like everything's fucked.
there.
Just do it.
Let's just go for it.
At this point,
Ain't no saving it, just play.
Right.
So, did you like double down on practice before now, or
you would think that. That's what we should have done.
We like to have a very loose feeling.
Yeah.
They doubled down on the mechanical.
Flow,
Yeah, we had our
hands.
hands full. Tom and I spent the last couple of days putting trailer hits on the bus.
On the full-size school bus.
Yeah. That was your prep.
It's our first trip with the trailer as well, so we're dealing with the
That's not fallen off yet.
the hesitancy of
We're-
that.
That's
We're a
good.
very hands-on band. We like to take care of everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey,
well,
our crew consists of Ehab's brother, and that's it.
That's true.
very nice. So you've shared the stage with a lot of artists already. Who has been your favorite to be on the same bill?
For me, every time I hear this question, I just immediately think of Fever 333 because they were a band that I had not heard of before, and they played right after us at Sonic Temple Festival, which is in Columbus, Ohio, and just, I mean, one of the coolest bands, one of the most, like, kind of unique sounds compared to what other people are doing today.
That was one of the most talked about sets of the whole weekend.
Yeah, man, it was such a refreshing show to watch, just, like, all this energy just coming out at once. It's so cool.
Much energy.
Yeah, that, and I mean, for me, it was also the Foo Fighters. Like, just seeing the there's very few rock and roll bands today that, like, have that, what am I trying to say? Like, they cross over genres. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just a rock and roll fan. If you like Foo Fighters, you probably are listening to a little bit of everything. So they're not very genre specific in that way. And then when you see, like, they're, like, the only band that weekend that, like happened in Epicenter in North Carolina and at Sonic Temple in Columbus, where it was just like city police officers just all throughout, like in between the front row and the barricade. And it's just amazing to see that, you know what I mean, that they're that big to the point of where they have to bring in all this extra help and enforcement. It's like, whoa, this is pretty big deal. So to see that for the first time was like, damn. Yeah.
Did you get to meet Dave Grohl?
We didn't.
I dabbed up Taylor Hawkins, and I was.
Oh, did you?
Nice. I was like, dude,
I met Jacoby at Sonic Temple.
Really?
Like, I mean, when I say met, I was like, "Hey, man." He's like, "What's up?" I was like,
I'm not
hanging out. Yeah, and then I walked the opposite direction he was walking. But
I'm 90% sure that I was walking around a field somewhere in Epicenter, and I saw Dave Grohl on a golf cart thing just flying through a field. So that was the closest that I got.
The close encounters of the Grohl.
He kind of met MGK.
I grabbed his ass.
I dabbed him
You
up.
grabbed his ass?
Yeah, that's
he
like
went-
Nick's thing. Nick
Details.
Okay, but like the best time, the time I was most starstruck was when I just watched Avenged Sevenfold close the night, like a couple, maybe 5 years ago at Sonic or then Rock on the Range.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a pass or anything, but after their set, I snuck back, and like Matt Shadows came back in to grab like his jacket or something, and I was just like, dude, great show.
And I dabbed him up.
Dabbed him up.
Dude, I know.
Next move.
I was like, oh my god, it's fucking Matt.
So cool. But MGK was like, we were walking, I think, to go play, right? Because we were all leaving as a unit to go.
Oh, you're talking about a different close encounter of MGK.
Did we meet him twice?
No, I didn't meet him the first time. He went crowd surfing over our head,
Oh!
and he damn near
You're
dropped
right.
on top of me and Liz, and like we each got a cheek,
Yep.
and just like back up.
No, I was thinking about, because we had they had like trailers kind of set up for us at the at Epicenter Fest, and we were walking out, I think, to go sound check or to go play or something. So it's like 3:00 in the afternoon, and we're walking kind of out of the artist section, and like someone has this giant double trailer, like 3 doors to get in. There's people all around it, and we're just like walking by, like, oh, whatever that is, and like here comes these 2 giant bodyguards that have to like duck down to get out of the trailer, and they're just humongous. I'm like, oh my god, who is this? MGK comes out right after them, and he's 3 times as tall as them. Just like super big dude. And because I think he had just done the Dirt movie or whatever, he like saw our get up and acknowledged us. So yeah, that was cool. And then he dabbed him up, right?
He dabbed him up.
So, since you're Ohio boys, were you familiar with MGK before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Was
sure.
that something bad, motherfucker?
Yeah,
You
dude.
did with
Yep.
Kid Rock.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love
Wild
it.
I love
Boy,
it.
bro. Wild Boy is lit.
Wild Boy?
Yeah, love that song.
Oh,
That song.
every time that came on
Yep.
when I was in college,
Yep.
wild
Your
times.
hand goes up and you take a shot. Necessary.
So you mentioned your EP, The Talk. How did it feel to have that covered by Rolling Stone?
Unreal.
Blew our mind.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So cool.
Straight up.
That's like one of those things where it's like if you tell us that like the 14-year-old versions of ourselves, if that would happen, be like, oh, okay, cool, I can quit now.
Yeah.
Case
Did it.
closed.
That's
Like,
it.
that's it.
Oh man, Rolling Stone, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
amazing when anybody decides to cover live music, let alone live rock music. So like, I mean, you two, like it's awesome that you guys are doing this, and thank you a lot for doing
Thank
it.
you.
And when someone like Rolling Stone, decides to like acknowledge, nobody's like us, it's unbelievable. It's a really good feeling, and yeah, kind of starstruck for a second. Like, what's our name? I've read the things on this website.
I've read things. I used to get this magazine, man.
Yeah, exactly.
My mom did.
Right.
Right. So I was reading an article and it talked about how you guys don't like to record anything you can't duplicate live. And I really like that because anytime I listen to something, I'm like, okay, but how is this going to translate live? If you're recording new stuff or when you're recording new stuff, do you plan on going by that same rule of taping the vintage way?
We always do, and that's kind of like, it's one of those things that's not necessarily like contrived. Like, it's very much, I mean, it's definitely a conscious effort, but at the same time, that's really kind of the only thing that we know how to do. So like when we go and record, like I'm focusing on the feel with the drummer, you know what I mean? I'm focusing on the feel of Tommy. Like, he's ultimately the one that's kind of like behind the wheel, so it's kind of, we're trying to keep pace with him. So that whole saying of like not doing anything that we can't duplicate live, it's just kind of like, hey, what's the point? Like, I don't want to have to rely on a computer to work and hit play and play some, you know what I mean, some sort of track in the background. Just really kind of grinds my gears. I guess I don't really know how else to put it. It's just, I guess, I mean, call me a purist or whatever, call me an asshole. I don't, whatever you want to call it, but like, that's just the way that we like to do it. And I think that if we tried to do it modern, if we tried to do it kind of a newer way, I don't know that you'd get the same effect or the same feel.
It's a hard thing. It's really about putting us all in the same room and just having us play the song the same way that we played it in a garage or in a basement or wherever, and on this bus, wherever we wrote it. Mm-hmm. So it's about kind of capturing like lightning in a bottle,
Yeah. So I read that Justin and Tom were originally working on a band influenced by Van Halen and Sabbath.
Yep.
Obviously, I like Van Halen.
Yeah. Shirt to be wearing.
How did you handle the news of Eddie Van Halen's passing? Like, did that affect you at all?
The three of us had to figure out how to like console Justin. Because
yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy. I mean, I found out like everybody else. I think Nick had texted me.
Oh, yeah, I thought you'd already known.
Yeah.
Oh,
so Nick had this thing where Nick doesn't hate Van Halen.
Nick loves
Nick
Van
Halen. Nick likes to shred on me because he thinks I love Van Halen so much that it's the only band I listen to, which is probably 90% accurate, but it's not a full 100%. So he actually was the one that texted the group or whatever of Wolfgang's post. And that's how I found out. So then I'm like, God, for the rest of my life, I'm going to know Nick is the one that freaking told me. But,
damn it, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, it was something.
We say that a lot.
It definitely had its, it was, I mean, it shook us. Like, I mean, it shook me. I saw them on their last tour with this guy, second row. Thank God I dropped my whole freaking tax return that year to see it. I'm never going to forget that night and forgive it. But yeah, their music had a lot of inspiration on all of us, and anytime you see anybody, whether it's Eddie, if it's Tom Petty, I had that kind of had a similar effect on me too. It's like, oh my God, that's like the soundtrack of my childhood.
Right.
It was like growing up listening to my dad play Tom Petty and Van Halen records, It's like, okay, they're gone now. But the cool thing is that the music never goes away. Ultimately, you put that stamp down and it's forever. So I don't think that people will be forgetting those names anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, I was the Nick for my parents, who obviously had me listen to Van Halen since I was a child. So I was like, I don't know if you saw this, but sorry.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to Ozzy.
Oh,
yeah, it's like
that's gonna be mine.
I know,
like all my drumming idols are already dead and have been for like quite some time, most of them at least. But Ozzy's just like
so you just went through life like knowing you're like, oh, I'm not going to see my idols. Like,
yeah, I mean,
like somehow it makes it a little bit better.
Bonham, they all been dead for 30 years before I was born.
So
well, not 30 years, 17 years.
Sure,
but yeah,
right. I think that was the first one that really affected me, and I was like, fuck, I need to go see everyone who's like 50 and above before they're gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think of like. You hear some of the names, like people like bands like the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, some of the even like the late 60s, early 70s, Ozzy.
See? You never know.
What do you think he was going to run into us?
Well, I thought they were pulling up because we're smoking a lot of cigarettes in here. And there's, I thought they thought the bus
Trust
was
me,
on
they
fire.
know what cigarette smoke and what a fire is.
Because they just start blasting it.
Well, it got so close. Like, it sounded like the fire truck was like right there. I'm like, did you just pull up?
It felt like it took him so long to get here. And just bam.
All right, so moving on, we kind of touched on when you're recording new music. Are you recording new music? And is there an album in the near future?
Yes.
No.
I want to hear his answer.
Album in the near future, very hopefully.
It is recorded.
It is recorded.
Yeah, if that's, I mean, to be frank, like, we never stopped writing. So, like, there is a plethora of music. And Nick got me hooked on, like, using my laptop to record stuff because he actually knows what he's doing and I don't. But we've been using that, like, a lot and really just, like, honing in this new music. But there is currently 10 tracks that are waiting to be released as a part of this EP. So we're excited to roll that out hopefully by the end of the summer. The thing is like, we don't want to take a gamble on music that we believe in so much by, shooting ourselves in the foot, by just pushing it and knowing, the world's not exactly back to normal, but we need to release music. I think it's more important to do it in the right time, when a rock band can go out and tour, you know, because that's how you make a name for yourself as a rock band.
Right.
So yeah, if that answers your question, yes, there's a lot of new music coming, and hopefully we'll be releasing some of it soon.
And it was one of those things where we didn't even really initially plan or want to release an EP. That was something that we decided, like from what Ehab said, like being a new band where, you know, we're still trying to make a name for ourselves, so we can't just, you know, like these bands and artists that have, you know, millions, hundreds of thousands of followers, you know, here and there, their name's already out there, they can release music whenever they want, you know. So for us, it was very imperative that we were able to tour on what we released. So we were kind of, like everybody else, waiting in the COVID limbo, you know, and it came to about like July, and it was like, well, we got to give our fans something, you know, so we picked 4 songs. I don't think necessarily even we said, okay, these are the best songs, but here's the biggest scope of the entirety of the album. You know what I mean? I think each one of those 4 songs sounds a little bit different from the other, so we try to do it that way. And like Ehab said, we're always writing.
So with the label, are you able to have a lot of say on when you release stuff and what you release?
When we release is definitely dictated by management and our label, because they know so much more than us about that, you know, and that's why we chose them. You know, there was a lot of competition out there, and there was a lot of people that, you know, wanted to sign a new rock band, you know, like the Greta Van Fleet in the room, you know, because it's like, holy shit, like this is working again, let's sign a bunch of rock bands. And it was like, you're trying to fuck us over, you know,
Right.
so we were like, I don't know if it's gonna work, and
We took our time.
The god that is Jason Flom, like, just wanted us very badly, and he knew that, like, you know, he kind of knew who we were already, and we were lucky enough to have already met Greg Wells through our management. They had kind of shopped us around to different producers, and Greg was this humblest, just, you know, a majestic man in many ways.
Just humble and
every time I talk about
enthusiastic
Greg,
both
it
at
turns
the
into
same
like
time.
a love fest.
Yeah,
I know, because then
He's a fucking ass. He's a weirdo.
getting hot. But, no, but you know, it was a thing where, like, Jason and Greg and Lava and all these amazing people just were super open with us, and we accepted each other with open arms. And there was months of, you know, contractual stuff that we had to straighten out with our lawyers and their lawyers. But at the end of the day, we got something that we loved, and they helped us record an album that we fell in love with, you know. So who's writing the songs and who decides what song is the song is us, which is where our area of expertise is. We might not have the longevity. We might not have like this huge experience list behind us, but what we know is in that time we recorded these amazing songs, we know what should come out, and they know when it should come out. So we kind of work together, and we've never felt suppressed in any way, if that makes sense. Okay. You know, we just feel like the world right now is in pandemonium, and we should just
if we wanted to pick up the phone tomorrow, tonight, and call the label and say, hey, or management say, hey, we want to release this next week. Okay, cool. But that would be silly not to take their advice on how to do it. You know what I mean? So we're trusting them to use their expertise in that way.
It's a good partnership.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you kind of touched on this a little bit, but your label mates, Greta Van Fleet, just released an album. Did you listen to it? And what did you think, if you did?
I'm very intrigued to know.
I'll start. I listened to it as soon as it came out, top to bottom. I was confused. And then, I mean, there were so many peaks in the first time that I listened to it. There's so many cool lyrical content, and there's so many cool melodies. And I called Tom immediately as soon as I listened to it. I was like, have you listened to it yet? And he's like, no. And I'm like, all right, can you listen to it so we can talk about it? He's like, why? Like, what's wrong? Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I'm just trying to figure out if I like it or not. Because it's such a different thing that they've done. And after listening to it now, you know, a bunch of times, like, love it. I love the album. Greta's so cool. Like, they have so many cool things that they do that's, you know, whether or not you want to talk shit or not, like, they're doing things that make me listen. You know, they're doing things that maybe not the same things that we want to do. Yeah, they make you stay interested, and they're reviving rock. They're opening this door. You know, we want to come in like the Kool-Aid Man, but like they're opening this door, and it's awesome. It was a really cool different album.
Yeah, and they're doing what they want to do, which is ultimately like what rock and roll is about. You know what I mean? Right. So I don't think that they released the album that probably people were expecting. Right. But I think that that's cool.
I'm sure they're happy with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure they are too.
I read in an interview they said I think the goal of it was just to. We hope some people are getting pissed off by it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, you should piss off some people.
All press is good press.
Yep.
So after that, if someone were to come up to you and say rock is dead, what's your reaction to that?
Fuck off.
That's exactly what I'm going to say. Literally, Tommy wouldn't even give him the time. Yeah. Nick, would you psychoanalyze him?
Be an ignorant statement. I'd probably have to slap him.
Nick, I resort to verbal violence. Nick resorts to physical violence.
And aggressive.
Rock is not dead. It's not even close. There's new bands all the time, and rock and roll is not even a style of music. It's an attitude. We've said that before.
Yeah.
And it'll never die. You can't kill something like that.
Disco tried to kill the rock. But the rock survived.
Did jazz try to kill the rock?
They did, but rock survived.
Yeah.
Rock's always been there.
I have a pin on my jacket that just says, rock was never dead, it just had a bad hangover.
Yeah. I love that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like people who do say that are just trying to get attention. Like, I don't think they really mean it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that there's a lot of people like Adam Levine who, like...
Are in their bubble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, okay, cool, you write the same song over and over again now. You used to be really good, but hey, whatever, bro. Like,
yeah, right.
Like, you figured out how to sell more records. Like, cool.
Yep.
Exactly.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But and then you run into people that say that, like Gene Simmons, I think I saw recently said that. For me, it's kind of like
I was him, I would say.
Yeah, you got to forgive the OG rockers because think about rock in 1975. You know what I mean? Like that's when that dude grew up and came up in rock and then ruled it for like 20 more years all through the 70s and 80s. Damn. Like, yeah. So I'll give him a pass, but rock is not dead. We are rebuilding.
And it's like
and rock is, in my opinion, rock is best when it's starting from the ground up, and I really feel like that's what's going to happen.
Everybody can root for an underdog, dude.
Yeah, I think there are more good albums coming out literally in the last 5 years that have come out before 2010. Yeah, I completely. I think that everything that came out. I mean, the thing is, though, is I love the late '90s. I love the 2000s. There's a lot of stuff in there that I listen to, especially Nick. I mean, that's Nick's fetish, and so it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't know. That's totally your fetish.
That's how you know
it's
a
proper way to. That's your Pornhub category. It's just 2002.
2002 rock.
That's what was happening at the time. But yeah, I just feel like this is the time to be a rock band. It's right now.
Yeah.
You know, and like it's weird because we didn't mean to be a like more classic sounding rock band. Especially because I grew up listening to like Michael Jackson and Phil Collins. Like I didn't even know anything about rock until I met him on like a 8th grade Kings Island trip or something like that. You know, so it was it's just kind of one of those things where I think right now there are amazing rock albums coming out constantly.
Absolutely.
So who are you guys listening to right now? Who are some of your favorite artists?
Beartooth has been dropping singles.
Love
like crazy.
Beartooth.
They're one of my favorites.
So good.
Caleb has just found his fucking mojo. And he'll just do it single after single.
Yep. He doesn't write a song.
They're all fucking good.
Yeah.
I found this band in Mississippi called Magnolia Bayou.
Oh yeah,
they are fantastic. Like our publisher put us in not in contact with him, but he gave us this whole list of badass up and coming bands to check out. And out of that whole list, those guys stood out a whole bunch. They're really, really cool.
Anyone else?
I listen to everything.
Van
Halen. There's always one of them.
I mean, I got a little Van Halen on the playlist. I got a little AC/DC.
Let's see your Spotify history right now.
No, you're gonna make fun of me the rest of the night.
I listen to a lot of modern things. I suppose I really like Billie Eilish.
Obviously.
Yeah, I like I mean, Post Malone, Drake, everybody.
Did you hear that country thing he's doing?
Oh,
it's
so
dude,
good.
he said this.
Awesome.
He said this.
Good. It's amazing.
It's so good.
From the get-go. He said that from the get-go. He was like, I like writing country stuff, but I can also write this stuff, and this stuff makes a lot of money. So I'm gonna do this for a while, and that's an interview.
Just wait till his rock. Just
dude.
because he's done the pop thing now,
I mean,
and he's starting to drop hints that he's doing the country thing.
In Rock Stars, I love that song.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the lyrical content in that is so freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine him writing a rock
that's
album.
what I'm saying.
Miley Cyrus with that.
I want the country
album
album first now though, because he's given out so many teasers of that country stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I have to
It's
hear
so
all
good.
of this, and then the rock album.
Yeah.
Then bestow the rock album post.
Yes. Miley Cyrus album was so good.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus. I feel like rock is like her genre.
Yeah,
like
it
that's
is.
where.
She needs to. Her and Lizzie Hale need to do a song together.
Mhm.
That would be unbelievable.
I
Dream
think
collab.
I think it would be
Yes.
her and who's the girl from In This Moment?
Oh, Maria Brink.
Maria Brink.
Something
No.
Brink? No.
Who was the
it's
one
them.
that played the Who and
Oh, Taylor Momsen.
There it
Yes.
is. There it is.
them two should do
Yeah,
something
they would
together
be
because
good.
I think that would be
good
super.
pairing.
I would love to hear you guys do a collab with some sort of like badass female rock artist or
We'd love
band.
to.
That would be sick.
That would be so sick.
If you guys know anybody, let us know.
Putting it out in the world.
Whoever we just mentioned. would be-
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
Trust
Lizzie
me,
Hale
Yeah, we'll
what's
hook you up
Let
with
me
Miley.
know.
Like
We're down. If you know
Yes,
Miley,
please.
send us that number. No problem.
Taylor Momsen will call you after the show. So.
We will definitely put you on the list.
Yeah, whatever list you want to get on, you're on it.
Just a couple more fun ones. You guys are from Columbus. What's your favorite spots in the city?
Newport.
Like the Newport venue.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, like Newport.
Newport Music Hall?
Newport Music Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry,
okay.
we're sitting in Newport. Yes. Oops. No, it's historic. It's been there forever. It's got the history. It's got the sound.
Used to be
it's got
called the
professionalism.
Agora.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
only one of my favorite places to play, but it's also one of my favorite places to see people.
Mm.
Because what's their cap? I mean, it's not 2,000.
Yeah, it's not
less
2,000,
than 2,000, but
it's
it's
like
big.
1,700, I think.
Yeah, and so it's like this big old
17.
theater that's been there for the theater. The building's been there as a theater forever.
Like some of the
Since
biggest,
the
like,
early
But-
70s.
Zeppelin, Dio,
Yeah.
like all kinds of
Yeah,
you know,
Rush,
Rush,
all
B.B.
that.
King.
Yeah.
Huge. Everything.
My favorite
AC/DC
spot-
for 2 nights.
My favorite spot in Columbus right now is the Skyline Chili.
I thought it was gonna be a sushi
The
bar.
one right in New Albany, in the cut right there.
Is that the one?
That's the one.
That's the
They
one for
made
you?
the
The
best.
one. There's
Okay.
always like the best skyline location. Like
Mm.
you know which one you're gonna go
Oh,
to.
yeah.
The Westerville one is trash.
You don't understand.
Really?
the
Cincinnati's
Skyline
the home of
obsession.
chili, bro.
I know, dude.
His obsession with Skyline is bordering unhealthy.
Dude, back when I was in high school, I used
I
to,
relate to
on my
that.
lunch break from school, I would ride my motorcycle to Cincinnati
Wow, so
to
cool.
go to the first one.
What are you talking about?
So
That's
cool.
hilarious.
Make it back.
Is that completely made up?
You're
Eon?
stupid.
No, I completely believe that. Dude. that's some stuff that I just didn't know that, but that's totally a Nick thing.
The first Skyline is here in Cincinnati.
Really?
Well, over there.
Over there.
Oh,
Yeah.
on the other side,
They're-
river.
This is
Just cross right
basically
across the
Cincinnati.
Right. I like
Across the
Kentucky.
river, too's.
Any other spots?
I'm bad at this. Oh.
I like
Well, no one's been
like-
going out.
big forest.
Yeah, that's
nature
true, that's
spots.
true,
Yeah,
that's
like I like cool like kind of secluded parks that like you kind of walk through the park. It ends up being like a big old nature trip kind of thing.
Mhm.
Because of the quarantine, that's like all I've been doing.
Yeah.
Roll up and go out there and do that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of cool like spots out in the country of like Johnstown or Westerville. That's just nice for like going out and just enjoying nature.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's like a bike path in Johnstown, like that's
Yeah,
like built
that
on these
spans,
old
like, the whole-
railroad tracks. Yeah, it's super cool because it's like it's covered in trees and you just ride your bike down there. Like that's pretty great spot.
Relaxing.
Very nice.
Mm.
So is there anything coming up that you guys want to share with our audience? Anything exciting?
Look out for festival announcements.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Question
The
mark.
festivals are actually happening.
Yes.
Quite questionably. We'll see. We'll see. But
They're being announced.
They're being
announced.
It's happening.
The Cooper Tires Driven to Perform competition,
Hosted by Alice Cooper.
hosted by Alice
to open
Cooper.
up for Evanescence.
With Evanescence. It's quite a bit.
Yeah.
But no, we're currently in that competition. So if you go to
Driven to
the
perform.com.
DrivenToPerform.com,
D-Ribbon.
Driven to Perform.
You can vote for us.
Yeah, you can vote for us. Check out our cover of Under My Wheels and our original Dancing with Fire.
Sounds like the video.
Go on there and vote because we would very much appreciate it.
And when does voting end?
We got less than a week now.
Yeah,
so
less than
probably
a week.
like 5 or 6 days
Do it,
left.
do it
Probably.
today.
Do it
Whatever
today.
is.
Now,
As soon
right
as you hear
now.
this.
Coming out. When is this interview coming out?
Probably Monday.
Okay, then yes, do it now.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Go.
We're watching.
I have casted my vote. I encourage the audience to do the same.
Yes.
you.
We fingers crossed that you guys win.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
You guys are awesome.
And then final question: your previous name, Black Coffee, and your song title. Obviously, you probably like coffee, I would guess.
Oh,
What are your coffee orders?
Oh,
I'm more of a Red Bull guy, but if I'm having coffee,
okay.
it's
Wow.
the blonde roast from Starbucks with 1 scoop of sugar and almond milk.
Black coffee.
The correct answer is
Oh, okay.
Tim Hortons.
Yes.
Which one, though?
Tim Hortons. Oh yeah, the
No, that's the
original
thing.
one in Toronto.
yeah. I used to go up there in kindergarten. My buddy who was in high school would pick me up, and we'd drive up there back when
You
we'd
know
have
what I mean?
passport.
You know what I mean? But yeah, we get on our wave runner, just go right over Levine. No, yeah. Fuck all that Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, all that
Trash.
nonsense. It's all Tim
You're
Hortons.
blowing
One
sponsorships
cream.
right now, dude.
I'm only interested
I'm
in
only
Tim
interested in
Hortons.
the Tim
Like,
Hortons
sue me.
sponsorship.
What do you want me to do?
I ain't gonna front Starbucks, but I hate it. Straight up.
Come on,
Well-
Starbucks is good.
Didn't you say
Tim
Becky
Hortons
Higgins
Black.
owns Starbucks?
He doesn't own it. He has a
Very nice.
huge share in it.
That's nuts.
Nuts.
All right, well that's it.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
on that note,